You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's The Biggest Loser After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's The Biggest Loser After Show.
You like this song too?
I do like this.
Every time we start, you kind of have to kick it off with a dance.
Yeah, I think that makes the show.
Definitely gets it off to a good start. Welcome, everybody, to Season 15, Episode 2 of The Biggest Loser. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, my name is Lauren Mendoza, and I'm joined by...
McKenzie Fayne.
McKenzie Fayne, the lovely McKenzie Fayne.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for joining. This was an emotional episode. Every episode is an emotional episode, but for some reason, this one seems to get me.
Ugh.
I love it. Let's start off from the very beginning. We kind of pick up where we left off. We saw how Jillian saved Craig in the last weigh-in. And so right now we're kind of seeing them touch base. And in this moment, Craig reveals to Jillian that he is a little bit afraid of turning 32, which is just 2 years away.
And he's 30 now. So
He's 30 now. So he says, my father died when he was 32, and so I've always kind of been afraid of that number. And Jillian, you could see her kind of react to that when he says that. She's like, you never told me about your dad, and it's so heartbreaking.
Oh my God, I know.
It's so heartbreaking because he goes into the story about how his father basically passed out on the floor when he was only 10 years old, and him and his brother thought that their dad was playing. It just kills me to think about a 10-year-old.
I can think my brother's 14, and I can just think of like him and my dad wrestling, playing, whatever. And that's so just what happened. Something like, not the heart attack, but just like them playing and him thinking, oh, you're on the floor, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Let me tackle you,
Yeah. I mean, or to think it might be strange that he like fell on the floor, but kind of you don't want to think that it's an actual emergency. So Craig talks about how he like jumped on his dad, thinking that he was playing. So he was like jumping on him to attack him, and then saw the saliva coming out of his mouth. And that's, I guess, what alerted him and his brother. I don't know how old his brother was at the time, but that's what alerted them to call the ambulance, and he was pronounced dead when the ambulance arrived. And so he's just always kind of dreaded that age of 32, because a heart attack is what took his dad. And with his weight issue, he's kind of seeing that could be my reality.
Exactly.
Another thing I noticed about Craig, they didn't really talk about it very much, but Craig on his shirt was wearing a save patch.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting, but they didn't say this, unless if I completely missed it last episode. Does that mean he only had, he can only be saved once? If he, in later episodes, were to fall down below, could he be saved again?
See, that's what we're still confused about. Like, can the same
trainer save twice?
Yeah, we don't know that either, which I don't know, but probably not if they're, branding him.
Because, they're
like putting it on him. He's saved. Right. He, now that's his first, and only
you've been saved, no more chances. Next time, you're gone.
Yeah,
so you're right. So anybody that's watching, if you guys know and we just totally missed this, feel free to comment.
That would be helpful.
Feel free to comment or call in. Let us know if we totally missed this, because that's a big detail. If Jillian has the opportunity, or any of the trainers have the opportunity to save every time, or do they have a limited amount? I don't know.
I'm kind of leaning towards that they don't, because Jillian had said, oh, never mind, I'm going to give away the whole. Let's just get into it later.
We'll get back to the saving towards the end.
We will. I tend to do that in the show. I think I did it last time.
Just in case some people are tuning in and didn't see the episode, we want to make sure we're not spoil it at the very beginning.
We'll get through everything.
So from there, we check in with Ruben. And Ruben in the premiere episode talks about kind of the health problems that he went through just in the past few years. And I believe he said last season that I don't know if he was diagnosed with diabetes or maybe he was at risk of it or something. Either way, he checks in with Dr. H, and Dr. H points out that all his insulin levels, his blood sugar levels, there's about 4 different tests that they can run, and all of them were just kind of off the charts, sky high. They even pointed out that while he's sleeping, his blood sugar level is high.
Oh, my gosh.
So, of course, he was then, I don't know if he was re-diagnosed or what it was with type 2 diabetes, which, lucky for him, Dr. H points out that it's reversible.
Yeah.
So, this is his second chance. This is his time to reverse that diagnosis. He can do that.
I'm just kind of confused. I mean, I'm not very knowledgeable in the diabetes.
You're not a doctor?
No, I'm not.
Oh, darn. I thought you were.
Yeah, well, I mean.
Get her out of here. I'm just kidding.
I look smart, maybe that's it. But, no, so I don't really know. But how do you not know? You have, like,
How do you not know?
He came onto the show, and now he's finding out. That's so odd.
Well, I mean, because think about it this way. When was the last time he went to the doctors? If he doesn't feel the need to go to the doctors, if he doesn't feel sick, or if he doesn't want to go, if he's avoiding the doctors, he's not going to know that about himself. The thing about getting your levels checked, whether it's for diabetes, whether it's for any kind of condition, sometimes you might not feel great, you might not feel your best. But for people that are so heavily overweight, they probably never feel their best, and they're used to that. So it doesn't alarm them to go to the doctors, you know? So it's hard to know that when you're not feeling well or when, maybe you're exhausted or you feel sluggish or whatever it may be, that you could just kind of chalk that up to, oh, well, I'm overweight or I'm out of shape, and it doesn't get you to actually go to the doctors.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think that's the issue with any of these people. We haven't seen anybody else go to Dr. H, but we will. And we're going to find that, I guarantee you, he's not the only one with diabetes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just think they don't go. People don't always go. I mean, that's for us, too. Like, we, even if we don't feel like we're heavily overweight or whatever, we could go. People go. They find out they have cancer, and they don't know. So you just have to keep your health
I don't know why it's so hard for me to, and that totally makes sense, but when you have diabetes, don't you, like, not feel good a lot? Do you pass out?
I don't think you pass out. Well, I think maybe it depends on the type 2. Maybe it depends, because I think he's type 2, and again, I'm not a doctor either. I don't know. So
everybody that's watching, if you know anything that can help us out, please.
Disclaimer, type 2. So all of his blood sugar levels were high, okay? I don't know if it's type 1 or whatever it is, but there are people that have diabetes where their blood sugar drops. And so they need the sugar. Okay. They need like a juice, or they need something like that. And I used to know somebody who used to have to make sure her blood sugar levels were at a certain spot. She used to have to drink juice or whatever. Otherwise, she could pass out.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know the specifics. Either way, whatever he's feeling wasn't enough to get him to the doctors. Or like I said, even if he was passing out, even if he wasn't feeling well, whatever it could be,
he could make an excuse for something else.
Just not want to face it and not go. So, Ruben talks in this moment about how he's worked since he was like 11 years old to be a professional singer, and he doesn't want to let that dream die. And I mean, we all saw him succeed at American Idol, and we saw how much he wanted it. And I feel like if that's part of what he's working for, I think he'll conquer it again. So I don't know. We'll see more about that to come. Also, in this very beginning phase of the episode, we meet Fernanda, who we didn't get really a chance to see in the last episode, in the premiere. She just broke my heart. And they didn't focus too much on her in this moment, but the fact that she said that she wants to do this to be the wife that her husband deserves, to be the mother that her kids deserves, that killed me, because I feel like she's living with so much guilt. She was talking about how she can't even have sex with her husband. She doesn't want to get naked in front of him. And that sounds horrible.
I can't even imagine, like, even going to the grocery store and being like with your husband, or going out with him being like, that girl's, he's probably looking at her. That's just always probably on her mind. And that's terrible. Oh my God, that
feeling like she could lose her husband. He could cheat on her. Maybe he has. Like, to kind of have those doubts, all because you're so afraid of just accepting yourself and giving yourself, to your husband and to your children. That just kills me. I mean, they didn't talk even too much more about her, but she said enough in those like moments that I just was like, I so badly want her life to turn around.
Yeah, me too.
It just kills me. Like nobody wants to live like that, and she just seems so desperate for help.
Yep.
So, I don't know. So then we kind of get right into the first workout. And in this first workout, we see Dolvett pulled Jennifer aside. And we saw a little bit of Jennifer in the premiere. And Jennifer is, I think she's 42 or so. She's the one where her daughter, she has 2 younger daughters, one of which I think her youngest is 70 pounds overweight.
Oh, yeah.
And they've shown pictures of her, and I don't really know what it is that gets Dolvett to kind of pull her aside, but he, we love Dolvett.
Love.
He's like a charmer.
Love.
No hesitation there, McKenzie. Love. He's such a charmer. And he tells her that part of the reason he picked her is because she reminds him of something in himself. Like he sees a little bit of himself in her, and that she's just this really caring mom and wants to do the best for her kids. And I know Dolvett, I believe, is a father as well.
I was just going to ask that.
He is. I think he has like a teenage son.
Oh.
I don't know. I followed him on Instagram once upon a time. Saw these things.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to have to follow him again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Him? How do you unfollow him?
I follow a lot of people. I'll get back on that. So anyways, yeah, I think he can relate to her in that aspect, in that they want the best for their kids.
Yeah.
Which, that's a lot of people on the show.
I could even say that. I don't even have kids.
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
I can imagine that. Yeah, and so they kind of have a really good heart-to-heart, and she breaks down a little bit just talking about her child and feeling guilty that her daughter got her eating habits from her mom, which this is just like a recurring thing on this show. On any weight loss show or just in life in general, when a kid is overweight, some parents feel tremendously guilty. Some parents don't think it's their fault, and I think a lot of people battle back and forth.
How do you not think it's your fault? You're feeding your kid.
I agree with you. The way I see it, I don't think of it as you're feeding them. I mean, you are essentially. But, if your kid's 13, they're feeding themselves. You're not putting the food in their mouth for them. But the way I see it is if you are the one buying the food and making the food choices of what's in your house that they can eat, then you have to take responsibility for it. It's different if they're eating healthy all their life and then they get their driver's license and they're driving themselves through drive-through with the money they made at their part-time job.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different. You have a little less control.
But it starts when you're younger. So they wouldn't have those if she was cooking salad with grilled chicken for dinner and they sat down and had dinner and that was a regular thing.
Right. Or if they were accustomed to having apples as snacks.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like pigging out.
Yeah. So it's just not going to be for me. Growing up, I didn't have fast food or, McDonald's was always so easy, but my parents never took us there for dinner more than twice a month.
When it was an emergency.
Yeah, soccer practice, you need to have food, so I don't have time, whatever it was. And so for me, having fast food, I get sick, I don't like it. So
I'm the same way. Well, for me, one of the things that I've noticed in other people, I'm not used to drinking soda. I never drink soda, and we just never had it in our house. It was just never something that my family bought. And I'm so grateful for that. We had our other junk foods. We, grew up on pasta.
Oh, yeah.
I'm from an Italian family.
Me too.
Oh, my God. We grew up on pasta, so
pasta and pizza.
Will blame them for my addiction to carbs for life. I can't give those up, and I will never.
Yeah.
But soda, that kind of stuff, or sugary candies, we just didn't have that.
See, that's the same thing with my house. My parents, most people have alcohol in their house. My parents don't have a drop of alcohol in our house. They don't have wines. They don't have, if there's a 4th of July party or something and my dad has beer, the next day he might go out and get a 6-pack and drink it because he got kind of used to it for a day, but we don't have alcohol.
Right.
So I don't know. That's another thing. So I'm probably not going to be alcoholic.
See, it just all starts. That's good. That's exciting. I'm so glad about that.
I was thinking, what was my point to that?
That's good. I mean,
But yeah, it's just whatever you grow up with and what you're accustomed to. So I really do think the parents, I get why she's guilty, and she should be guilty.
To feel that. And that's the thing. It's like you're eating that next to your daughter. If you're choosing to have pizza for dinner, so is your daughter. You know, it's like you have to take hold of that. And I'm not a parent, so it's hard I can't speak from experience. But that's hard. Yeah, I can understand the feeling of guilt.
But I mean, at the same time, I know families that just their metabolism and like just the genetics of them, they can have pizza bites for dinner.
Totally not cool.
And all that stuff. But at the same time, it's like your kid's not healthy. Are they getting the vegetables? Are they getting the fruit? Are they like, they're not.
Oh, that's like a whole other thing because we can get into like skinny fat.
Yeah.
You can be skinny but not healthy, you know, like have no muscle mass. Like you can be unhealthy, out of shape, but be thin, and you could eat horrible food. So we could go on and on for days about this. It's just basically the key is getting your kids onto healthy eating right away, no matter what your genes are. It's just you avoid cancer, you avoid different diseases. You know, not every disease comes from being overweight. So you have to think about health in general, not just about being overweight.
Exactly.
So then we get into the very first challenge of the season.
Very creative. I liked it.
Really creative. At first I was like, how am I going to explain this challenge? So basically what it is, Allie gets up there and she points out that this challenge will also determine, okay, the challenge is,
I don't even know how to describe it.
Basically, the teams are going to be tied together. Okay, so they have to work as one unit. It can't be like one guy is faster than the other. Can't be that. They're all tied together. They run over a hill. They have to roll the dice.
Yep.
And then depending on whatever number it lands on, that determines how many buckets of water they can carry back over the hill. And as they carry them over, they have to fill up this large glass container, and the first team to fill that wins. So if a team of however many are on these teams, 6 people or whatever it is, if they go over and they roll 1, they're only carrying, one person is carrying that 1 bucket of water, and they're all just going with them. And that can, obviously slow down how quickly you fill that container. So the winner of this challenge basically gets to die at the final weigh-in. And that is because at this final weigh-in, each trainer is going to roll the dice to determine whose weight will matter at this weigh-in.
Yeah.
Okay, the winner gets to die, so they basically will have the option of picking between the 2 contestants. So they kind of have a little bit more control.
Yep.
Does that make sense? I really hope that makes sense.
I was like waiting for a response, like from somebody in the mic. Do you understand?
Let's hope so. Let's hope everyone's nodding.
Yeah,
I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it did to me.
It was detailed, to say the least. So, I mean, it's a good challenge. It's a hard challenge, and I think I kind of like that they were all just having to completely depend on each other. So, long story short, the blue team wins. I mean, there's not much to say in this. Like, it wasn't like, one team kind of had it the entire time. It kind of went back and forth.
It was a chance thing with the dice.
Yeah, exactly. It's a chance. So, blue team wins, which was exciting. Exciting for Bob. So they were going...
And his mustache.
We'll get to that mustache. I have news on that mustache.
Do you?
I do.
I don't even know this. This is exciting.
Tune in to the end of the episode because I got news on the mustache. Not much, but got news. So then we kick in, because this show is now only an hour, we kick right into the last chance workout.
Yep.
Or actually, before we get the last chance workout, they kind of teased us with a little sneak peek at Lindsay, our child ambassador from season 14. So for those of you that watch season 14, you are so familiar with Lindsay and Bingo and Sunny. I was like, wait.
Bingo was his name?
Bingo was his name. It was his nickname, but that's what he goes by. And that's what we know him as.
Okay.
And he was, if you knew Bingo, Bingo, he's a Bingo. That just matches his personality.
Okay.
He's amazing. He's going to be the next superstar on TV. That's what I think anyways.
Oh, Bingo.
He just has that personality.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs to come.
I was just going to say, we should get Bingo in here.
We're on it.
Yeah,
we're out to you, bingo.
Yeah.
So we get a sneak peek at Lindsay and just kind of where she is now. Lindsay, I mean, I don't even know what to say. My first impressions of her, she looks skinny.
Yeah,
she like has these long legs,
before
skinny.
and after pictures, amazing. I mean,
she looks amazing. Yeah, she looks so skinny. She's like happy and she's confident, which I think is the biggest accomplishment out of this entire journey for her, because she was just really down on herself. You know, she wanted to be a cheerleader and she wasn't confident in herself because all the other cheerleaders were thin.
Yeah.
You know, and now she's actually doing that. We saw that in the finale of last season, that she's a cheerleader now. But one of the greatest things that we saw, and I don't remember seeing him last season, was her brother.
I don't think he was part of it. I think it was just her brother and she inspired him.
Yeah, but I mean, last season when they showed like her family, I don't remember seeing her brother at all. He's a little bit older, but you know what? It was so cute to see them, like footage of them working out together.
Yeah.
And she's inspired him to lose like 65 pounds, and he's still going.
And he looks great, yeah.
He looks really great, and they look like they have a really cute relationship. So it was great to catch up with Lindsay, and I'm assuming that in these episodes to come, we're going to see where Bingo's at, and we're going to see where Sunny's at. So we're looking forward to that.
Yes.
So we get right into the last chance workout. We see a little bit of each team. And the first team we see is Bob's team, and we see Hap. Ooh, but remember what happened with Hap?
Oh my gosh, that was terrible.
Go ahead, tell us what happened with Hap.
Hap had a baby boy.
But that's not terrible. That's not the terrible part.
No, that's not the terrible part. I'm making it seem. He had a cute little lovey little baby boy.
Yes.
Named Ripkin. I actually like it.
Cute.
You know, we call him Rip.
Totally.
That's cute. But anyway, he had this baby boy, and he wasn't even there to watch.
He wasn't there.
Born.
But you know what is sad? He said, you know, that when he left, his wife was pregnant, and he said he said 2 weeks ago, which would be right when he got there, because we're in the second week. This is the second weigh-in.
Yeah.
So it must have been like within the first days of him getting to the ranch that his wife calls him and she goes into labor. Can you believe it? That he
I would say
just
get home. Well, I don't know if my husband was in. I don't know.
I kind of can't believe that the show wouldn't let him leave. Like at some point when she's in labor, like wouldn't give him.
He has to see his baby from a webcam.
Skype. Yeah. Which was sad, and you know what? It's like I can't believe the show didn't let him go. I can't believe he didn't just pick up and leave. I can't believe his wife, although, you know, she's being a supportive wife. She doesn't want to make him do that.
I don't think I'd be that supportive.
And you know what? She's already popped out too. She's like, I've done it. I've got it. It's not like it's her
boy,
first.
Though. It's her first boy.
Maybe she didn't know. Maybe they didn't know it was gonna be a boy.
Actually, I don't think they did because
know.
they made a big deal about it being a boy.
So
Little Rip
it was sad to think that he couldn't be there for that. But when you look at the bigger picture,
he's doing it for
them. And so in this last chance workout, Bob really points it out. Like, you know, he's noticing that Hap left his family for his family. And he's admiring that. And you really see Hap inspired by this. And Hap even says after he like sees his son over Skype, you know, that there's in these 2 weeks that he's had moments of despair where he's wanted to completely quit and give up, but he's got this family to go home to and he misses them insanely, but I think he's using that to kind of fuel his energy.
Oh, yeah.
So he is killing it.
Yeah.
And then we see him like vigorously just vomit.
Oh, and can we mention that he's only 25 years old?
With 3 kids. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
It is to us, but I think that, you know, there are people that have kids.
Yeah.
Kids at 25. It's not uncommon.
It's not one kid. There's 3.
That's a lot. Oh God. I know.
But anyway, so yes, he vomits. It was all water.
Like insanely, and they didn't even like cut away. They didn't show just a little bit of it.
They might as well have zoomed in and played slow-mo.
Might as well. Yes. Slow-mo.
Because it was literally like,
it was like projectile vomit of water-ish. It was gross. And what I loved is how he said that he loved that he vomited. Like, he's like, I love that I puked. That made me proud. That was like an accomplishment. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. I don't see that, but I mean, maybe I do. I get it. I feel like it was a sign of how hard he's pushed himself. That's how he was looking at it. But, you know, you never hear that. I puked and it felt like an accomplishment. After a long night out and a lot of drinks, I puked and that felt like an accomplishment. No, you don't hear that very often.
I accomplished my task. That's funny.
Then we see the white team, and we see Craig, who he was saved, and we just see that he is like so determined and so badly wants to be the person whose face comes up when Jillian rolls the dice.
Oh, he was so
like, I want it to be me. I want it to be me.
I wanted it to be him at that point because he was just so adamant about it. Like,
yeah. He wanted it because he wanted that second chance to kind of prove himself and prove like I was saved for a reason. I deserve to be here. So he wanted that. My concern was, you know what though? You get that, and what if you don't win? I mean, it doesn't guarantee that he would go home, but you don't want to be the second person. You don't want that to be your second time up on that platform and letting your team down.
That's what we were both shocked about. You know, they were everybody that went, I want to be picked. I hope it rolls on my face. I'm like, I would never want it to be me.
Please don't.
I hope I lose the most up there. Everybody will see, but
you don't want
that weight on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, well, you know.
I mean, that's good. I'm glad that they're very confident and we're not in their shoes. They've been working hard. But it's kind of a...
Part of me feels like, you know, they're just talking out of their motivation. I don't want to say all talk, but really when it comes down to it and it's in that moment.
Yes.
I mean, we saw this. So then we go to the red team and we see this with Tanya. In her workout, while she's working out, she's saying the same thing. She's like, I want it to land on my face, or I at least want it, if it does land on my face, I want my team to be like, that's cool, we got this. She wanted that during the workout.
But then
cut to the actual weigh-in.
No, because remember, it cut to all them in the confessional. And
yeah, but that was right before the final weigh-in.
And she said, I don't want it to be me.
And that's what I'm saying. In the workout, in the last chance workout, before we get to the weigh-in, when it's like, who's it going to be, who's it going to be?
She was saying it.
Yes, during the workout for a while, or maybe it was in the beginning of the episode, she was saying she wanted it to be her. Maybe after her last chance workout where she didn't feel so confident, we get to the final weigh-in, and everybody on her team wants it to be them except for her.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, sorry, I got confused.
It was kind of comical.
Yeah, it was funny, though.
Yeah, she's funny. I really love her. Regardless, Dolvett goes up there and rolls the dice. And who is it?
Tanya.
It's Tanya. The one person at this point that she just doesn't want it to be her, which typical, that kind of works out that way. That seems like that would happen to me. I'd be like, no, I don't want it to be me. And of course it is. So Tanya gets selected. And Dolvett, he doesn't seem to have a worry in his mind about anybody on his team, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't get that from him. He's not a very
he doesn't worry.
Person.
No, you're right. He's very calm.
Yeah.
Then we get to the white team. And I don't know, I mean, Craig is the one who really wanted it to be him. We didn't see so much of their team to think, oh, it should be this person, or hopefully it's that person.
Well, because we still don't really know about Jay, Toomey, and Mary.
Yeah, you're right. We don't. So it's Fernanda. Fernanda gets selected. Then we go to the blue team, and at this point, Bob has 2 die that he is utilizing. So the first roll that he rolls, he gets Chelsea, who he's really confident in Chelsea. In one of the workouts, he's like pointing out that Chelsea's kind of killing it. She's holding her own with the best of them. They've got Holly, the Olympic athlete, on the team, and other people. She's holding her own, you know, and she's proven it to herself. Even in this episode, she talks about how, she was excited because she's proving that she has more strength than what she really knew. And she's already starting to see that. So Chelsea is picked. Then he rolls the die one more time, and he gets who he wanted, Hap. So, of course, Bob goes, because at this point now he can pick who does he want to weigh in for the blue team? Whose weight does he want to actually matter when it comes to the percentages? And he goes with Hap. And the best thing, going back to this whole puking situation, the best thing that he says is like, when I saw Hap puke I wanted it to be him. It had to be him. I'm like, when did puking
Guys, I
matter
don't get
so
the puking
much?
thing. Yeah, that's funny.
Whatever, you know, for Hap, it was an accomplishment. And for Bob, he knew he wanted it to be Hap. And I guess it just showed how bad he worked out. So
I've never thrown up while working out. Like, I've seen people, you know, in double days of soccer and basketball and the whole, like, tryouts, but I've never done it myself.
Yeah, I don't know. But
maybe we need to experience it
maybe
first.
we need to push ourselves really hard.
and then we'll just want to film it and show it to the world.
Yeah, and maybe we'll feel a sense of accomplishment. Doubt it. I think I'll be tired, but that's okay. So then we get into the actual weigh-in. So the entire teams weigh in. We start with the blue team. And without getting too much into detail, they pulled some big numbers. I mean, Holly had pulled 10 pounds, Matt 8, which wasn't the biggest, Bobby 10, and Hap,
Who matters this round?
pulls 13. He loses 13 pounds.
Amazing.
Which is really great for week 2, because this is the dreaded week 2.
Yep.
Everybody kind of, they don't plateau at this point, but they tend to really not lose a lot of weight.
And he had lost, because they said that Hap lost 17 the week before.
So you kind of would expect him not to pull another big number, but he totally
Still up
did.
there in the teens. Yeah, it was great.
He totally did. So that was great. So he lost 3.37% of his total body weight. Then we get into the white team. So the white team kind of starts off pretty good. Craig, he loses 11 pounds, and he's the one who really wanted it to be him, and unfortunately it wasn't. But you know what? He gets up there and he pulls a big number, and I think he still accomplished what he wanted to prove that
Definitely.
he deserved to be there. Jay pulled another big number. He lost 11 pounds as well. Marie and Toomey, 5 and 8 pounds. Not bad.
No.
Not bad. Fernanda gets up there. And I don't think anybody really knew what to expect. Yeah, I guess you never really do, because right now, it's not like you're looking at them and saying, oh, you could tell they lost a lot of weight.
No.
So you don't really know what kind of number they're going to pull.
But this just seemed so set up. I know it wasn't, but didn't it? Like these good numbers after good numbers, and then like it was like set up. It was like, I don't even know. It was crazy. She lost 2 pounds.
2 pounds. And she just burst into tears. She just cried. I would too, right in the second. It was sad.
It was.
It was really sad. And, you know, Jillian, it's like she looked disappointed when they cut to her, and she just kind of shakes her head. But she pointed out what is so very true. She said, this is classic week 2.
Yes.
This is really what happens. And she said, you know what? You've been working out hard. You've been hitting your calorie burn, because I think they monitor that on a day-to-day basis. They need to make sure they're hitting a certain number. They wear their little monitor thingies.
Oh.
And I know, right? So she's hitting her number. So to Jillian, it really didn't make sense, other than the fact that this is just kind of how bodies tend to work. You lose all this weight in the first week. The second week, it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because I'm not, as we know, I haven't watched these seasons, but I don't think they would ever like ream somebody out. Like, oh yeah, you didn't do this week, so you need to go home. Because it's, how do you send somebody home on that kind of note? How are they going to push forward?
I don't know. But I don't think they would do that. But you know what? The trainers, they have, in the sense that if somebody is slacking or they're cheating on their calories or not doing things right, they're going to call them out on it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not there. Like, maybe they sneak into the kitchen and eat more calories than they should be.
And
maybe they go over their calories. Even if it's healthy food, if you're going over your calories, that is kind of jeopardizing. You're jeopardizing your deficit, you know, if you go over on those calories. So you never know. I remember years ago, we saw a contestant. He actually threw the weight. We found out later he threw the weight and he drank tons and tons of water. I don't remember why he did it. He drank tons and tons of water, so when he got on the scale, it showed he gained like 13 pounds. Or I think it was like 13. I don't think it was 17, but I think it was 13 pounds or somewhere around there.
Why would he
gained
do that?
it. I don't remember. This was like seasons ago. All you diehard Biggest Loser fans will know what I'm talking about. I just so vividly remember, because everybody was stunned and shocked and didn't know why he was doing it.
And he did it on purpose?
He did it on purpose. And I don't know if it was to send somebody home, or sorry, to send himself home, or what it was.
Or to like mess with the system.
Yeah, I don't know. And he lied too. I remember he kind of lied up there. He's like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did. And then it was later that we found out that he drank a ton of water.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and they'll call them out. They'll be like, what's going on? Or, you really slacked this week. You're not doing it. They'll call them out, whether it's during the workout, whether it's on the scale, whatever it is. They're not
Because they still have to make good TV.
Well, not just that. I think these are their, they're taking responsibility for their contestants, but they can only take so much.
Yeah.
It is also on them. And when they mess with that, these trainers are like, we're giving you a chance of a lifetime, our time, we're committing ourselves to you. And the fact that you are just disrespecting me and doing whatever the hell you want, you don't want to be here. There's other people that want to be there. They will call them out on it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So, Jillian looked a little disappointed, I think, but she kind of just said, that's classic week 2, and was bummed. Then we get into the red team. They pull some pretty good numbers. Jennifer loses 9, which is pretty good for week 2 for a female. Ruben loses 10, which is great. Rachel 8 and David 11, and then we get Tanya up there. And it turns out, probably because her and Fernanda are close in weight, that she actually only needs to lose 2 pounds, or more than 2 pounds, to beat Fernanda's percentage to keep the red team safe. So Tanya gets up there. She loses 4 pounds, and she's like so relieved. And I think everybody else is for a second, and then they realize, oh, it's only 4 pounds. Like, that's not great. But you know what I love about Dalvet is, if that were Jillian, as much as I love Jillian, I'm a diehard Jillian fan. She's my favorite. She always will be. She can say, it's not a great number. She kind of shows a little bit of her disappointment, whereas Dalvet, I don't think he was necessarily happy about that number, but he looked at the positive and he said, you know what I learned about you, Tanya, is that you're a fighter. And he just
turned it all around.
Something amazing and positive.
Yeah.
I was like,
and she's the one who he said needs that enforcement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I love him.
He's like the motivational speaker. He is the one that you want to talk to on probably every day.
Yeah,
not just
give
a
him
bad
a call.
day, just every day. It's like you want like a Dalvet alarm clock to wake you up in the morning with some fantastic saying.
There should be an app where you could just look, slide over,
Dalvet app. I hope he's watching, because that would be amazing. Just all his positive sayings. I don't know.
That'd be great.
But then I would want Jillian as my trainer, and Bob as my friend.
Oh, we've never said who we would want.
Who would you want?
I
know who you would want.
Who?
You want Dalvet.
I do. But that's not why I want Dalvet.
But you want the whole package of Dalvet.
I do, because I love him, because he's great, and I think he would motivate me. Even though,
of course.
Even though it's hard, I don't know if I could do what they're doing. I work out, but still, it's hard. It looks so hard.
You can, and that's the thing. I mean,
and yes.
None of these people really believe that they can actually do it. They're doing it because they feel like they have to, and they want that chance.
Yeah.
They don't think they can do it.
I know, I'm on here being all negative. Sorry, guys.
Come on. Yeah, McKenzie.
Sorry.
Get it together. So, unfortunately, Fernanda falls below the red line, which means there's no hope. They don't need to talk about it. And she goes home, and that killed me, because I so badly felt for her and why she wanted to be there, and she wants to do this for her husband, and I think now it's on her. She's got to do it.
But you know what this made me think of? So you do things that she's going to go home, she has the motivation, more confidence and everything, but she should go home thinking, I can do fun things and work out. That's what I keep,
with your kids.
Yeah, when I have my friend Connor, me and him would always, ride dirt bikes and go ride quads, and we'd build tracks in the back, and it worked us out, obviously, now that I think of it. So why doesn't she take from this, like, go home and do fun things, but you can also work out?
I think she can, and I think that was her goal, was to kind of get in shape so that she had the energy to do more with her kids. And I think it's a good balance, because I do think she's overweight, so right now, if she wants to lose it at a quicker pace, yeah, maybe she needs to add in an hour of exercise. Maybe she needs to get up before her kids go to school and do a workout DVD, or do something that is focused on good, intense exercise to kind of help with the weight. And then she does need to just do it and play with her kids. She can't use her weight as an excuse not to play with her kids. She needs to look at playing with her kids as a way to help her weight.
Yeah.
So,
but from this, I think even the 2 weeks, she can tell that she definitely can. She can do this.
She can, but she needs to know that. She needs to take that home, and that's what Jillian pointed out to her. You are an athlete. Like, you can do this. You know, 2 weeks is just a taste, though. You know, like, you're just getting into it. I
cannot wait to see the next 5 minutes, because they said the first 5 minutes of the next
episode. Yeah, I don't feel like she was there confidently yet.
I didn't either.
So I'm just hoping that she wants it bad enough that she'll just do it.
Yeah.
She'll find a way and push through. And I hope her husband saw this episode and so badly appreciates what she wants to give him, and that he just encourages her and pushes her to do it, because she needs it.
She should hire a personal trainer.
Not everybody has the dough, McKenzie.
That's not that expensive?
It's expensive.
It is?
Yeah, and I mean, she's got 2 kids. You don't know.
Okay.
You don't know her financial situation. Maybe she could find a friend that she could work out with, somebody that can hold her accountable. She has the tools. She can find it. She can do it.
She can do it. She lost 20 pounds, though. They did say that.
That's awesome.
In total. And that's a good start.
It's a good start.
It's not 8, so
no,
20
it's not
pounds
5.
is nice. That's like a healthy baby.
Good kickstart. So we have all the faith in her. So before we wrap this episode, I want to first thank everybody who has subscribed on iTunes, who've given us that 5-star rating, because I think it's a 5-star rating.
I think so too.
So we're fantastic. So please continue to go to iTunes, subscribe to us, subscribe to all the other fantastic AfterBuzz podcasts that you find there. And also I want to thank the people that join us on YouTube. We have a lot of great viewers on YouTube. Erin Brooks, who's one that she watched us last season. I think she watched Extreme Makeover. She loves these shows, as do we. She gave some great commentary.
What were they?
Well, you know, I think it's funny because a few of the people that commented here, it's kind of up in the air. Nobody really likes this new format of the show and it being an hour. I think people feel like they're not getting enough of the contestants, and it feels so fast. And I kind of agree.
I can't really vouch for the 2 hours, but the 1 hour, to me, I think it's fine, because I don't know if I'd want to sit there for 2 hours and
well, I think you get more invested in those 2 hours, but you know what? I think we're still going to be just as invested as this season goes on. And I will say, I did feel this episode felt a little bit, there was more substance to it than the premiere to me. Like, I got more of these people. So I think we just got to get used to it, you guys. I understand, but thank you for tuning in. Bill Hansen Jr., he also commented and agrees with Erin. He doesn't really like the format. And then we have Average John, 123 2004, who commented, and I liked his comment. So he thinks that Rachel is Danny 2.0, and any of you guys that have watched the previous seasons, you know Danny, you know she was a killer. Danny was the winner last year. She's insane. So let's see if Rachel's right. Like, we'll see if Average John is right, and if maybe Rachel will take it home. I don't know. And before we go, I want to give you some quick news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right. So please tune in tomorrow to Bethany. You will see one of our favorite trainers, Bob Harper. He's on the show tomorrow, and him and Bethany go into a little bit of a diet debate, and they talk about orange juice. Bethany just really argues that she kind of likes her little glass of orange juice every now and then, and Bob just swears, don't drink your calories. It's not worth it. If you want the benefits of orange juice, eat an orange and you don't get the sugar. Are you disappointed?
I'm glad I know the knowledge. I have the knowledge now.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna drink orange juice ever again. I'm gonna squeeze my
an
own.
orange. Bethany wouldn't let him down, and she kind of kept pushing him, like, can you just admit that a small glass of orange juice is okay? And he really just does not budge. Like he says, I don't drink my calories, and then he kind of goes into, that's why I like your skinny girl, and he kind of turns it around. He won't admit it. He won't say drink orange juice. And you know what? I agree. Don't drink your calories. It's a lot of sugar.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Then if you guys want to know what's going on, if you want to know what's going on with his mustache, Bob admits, because we saw him earlier this year, he had like a full-grown beard. Well,
his
pretty
little
thick.
Scruffle.
No, it was a beard earlier this year. And then the last season, he had a beard. And he talks about how he went through a breakup, and that was his breakup beard. He had grown all that, I guess, while he was going through a breakup earlier this year. Then he shaved it all up, but decided to keep a little bit of the mustache. And he's thinking he looks really good, and his ex is probably a little bit jealous.
And he's on the market now.
He's on the market.
So comment if you would love to be the next Mrs. Mustache.
Yeah. And then lastly, one other thing to go back onto what Bob has to say about diets. This I thought was fantastic and just intriguing. He says, go to bed hungry.
Really hungry?
Yes.
Because I'm starving right now.
So that means you need to go to bed. No, he says he knows that it's a really hard thing to do, but go to bed hungry. If you absolutely have to eat, go for a protein, even though, let's be honest, we want ice cream if we're going to eat something before we go to bed. But go for a protein, because while you're sleeping, your body just doesn't have the metabolism, I guess, to burn off the calories of carbs.
See, I love these little tips.
Right?
Because
go to bed hungry. That was, I knew the orange juice one, but go to bed hungry, to me, that was like, that sounds really hard, but something maybe I can make a conscious effort to.
That is why dinner is at 5 o'clock. Supper's at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6:30.
Yeah, don't eat after 8, that whole thing, which I break all the time.
I know we do.
Yeah. I'll work on that, Bob. So that wraps our episode.
That was quick.
That was a quick one. Flew by. So thank you guys all for joining in. If you want to continue the conversation, like I said, you could go to iTunes, comment, YouTube, or you could follow me on Twitter at @low_Valles, VALLES. And you, McKenzie?
And you can follow me on Twitter at McKenzie Fayne.
And that wraps our episode. So we'll see you guys next week.
Alrighty.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.